Hello, guys, girls and boys. Today I say hello from the best hotel in Vienna, Brillantengrund, in the 7th district. We are talking English today because we got a special guest directly from Sweden.
Sweden?
No, Finland. From Finland, Jari from Pelago Bicycles. He's one of the co-founder. Pelago, you probably know this brand. We are reseller of Pelago for almost 10 years. And yeah, we'll talk about bikes today. Please introduce yourself, Jari.
Well, I'm actually not the co-founder. I'm almost the co-founder. The company was founded by two brothers, Timo and Mikko, in 2009. But I've been working in the company almost 14 years now. Well, the company is like 16 years old. So almost from the beginning, I've been working in the company.
What was the main idea of Pelago? How did Pelago happen? Can you tell us?
So the background of the company is like the founders, Timo and Mikko. They have background in design, a background in skateboarding, snowboarding, and in a way street culture, and also the younger brother Mikko, he used to work as a mechanic. Everything comes really naturally and very nicely together in cycling and in bicycles. And back in 2009, they felt like there was a certain type of design of bike, kind of like an idea of bike that they couldn't see that much around, for example, in the city of Helsinki. So that kind of like prompted them to do their own brand, which started in 2009 in Helsinki.
Bicycle scene in Helsinki, what is it like back then? Is it like Holland bikes? Or
exactly. Good point. Okay. So a lot of people riding mountain bikes also in city surroundings. But if you think about city surroundings, and then what is very nice to have in a good city bike is actually things that the riding position, having really good quality full-length fenders, for example, and then having good accessories that fit the bike. Also the aesthetics of the bike that fits the architecture and then the city surroundings, the design aspect. It all comes together. Combination of aesthetics, combination of utility, and combination of strength in a way of making something that lasts, timeless. So, that's the idea.
Mountain bikes were the way to go 20 years ago or something like that. If you thought about buying a new bicycle, even if you just rode it for the city. How many bikes we equipped with fenders and racks and stuff like that on bikes that never meant to be equipped with that. Now it's a totally different scene, different products on the market. Changed a lot, for sure.
And I think it in a way, maybe that idea of it has always come from this performance world. Mountain biking, it can be an active sport, or it can be something like an active hobby, or kind of like doing that. Then that's the benchmark of a good bike. Then I just bring it to the city. But at the same time, if you just think about what do I use in my own daily city life this bike for, then what kind of features do I want to have in that bike? That matters, and then it's good to pause and think maybe what kind of actual bike you want.
Cool. I think a lot of companies also struggled to get decent urban bikes because of all these small things that a lot of bike designers never had to think about. How does a good fender look like? I think there was a lot of knowledge lost as well. Everyone just designed mountain bikes or road bikes in volume, but never good quality fenders. Except for SKS.
And Pelago also. We do our own fenders.
It's fascinating about Pelago that they still have a very small choice of bicycles, also equipment. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's not doable for you. Have you ever had the will to produce more bikes, or is it like, we keep it small?
We're a very design-oriented company, and we're a small family business. So I guess it comes from the DNA of the company, and also the idea of, timeless products. The ideal of having a Pelago bike that till 50 years from now you ride the bike. Of course, there's some parts that you changed during the time, but also that means that we don't every year everything changes in the range, and we try to introduce something new all the time. The timeless element is there, and what this means is basically the general frame design, the colorway, kind of like and using components that just make sense and they are easy to service and easy to change. So having that type of mentality of not trying to chase the newest and the trend every year, but just trying to do something that lasts.
Pelago for me, it's also one of the brands where I know, selling a Bristol, for example, your most iconic bike in my opinion, sell the customer this bike, I know when he comes back 10 years later, this bike still looks good, it looks classic, it's, you can't go wrong. It's like a classic already. That's pretty impressive. There are not a lot of new bikes on the market that you can sell nowadays, that you know this will look good in 10 years, in 20 years, it doesn't change,
I can tell you, it's an effort to do it. It's in the details, you know. Again, you can go into details with the tires and the rims you use to make a good wheel, and then the fenders. With like a small detail again, having good solid fender stays, that when you park the bike, it might take a hit, but it doesn't damage that fender. And then having a good paint cover on the bike, having a strong steel frame, and all bolts you try to kind of like source all the time so that, you know, they don't rust. It's a constant effort. It's tweaking and tweaking. Maybe I go back to the climate again, because we are from the Nordics, and for example, we sell a lot of our bikes in Copenhagen, in Denmark, which is a huge cycling city. The commuting happens with bikes there. You can actually see people going to construction workers driving bikes there. So all year round, the bikes are in heavy use, and they salt the roads during the winter. Customers from Denmark that used a lot of our bikes, they give us also feedback what kind of bikes you need to do in order to survive the yearly use in Copenhagen, for example. So that feedback, and which we try to keep as a goal. You need to be ambitious.
It must be a goal. Bikes get used so much more than most sportive
sport
bikes.
Exactly.
If you're into sport bikes, after like 5 years, you probably already changed the bike. If a new version whatsoever, they don't have to last that long actually. Or they can get out of date and everything. I mean, they get out of date.
And there's the mentality is also that you always want the latest of kind of like something changes. But it's a bit of a different world than the daily cycling life.
When I see new products, sometimes it makes like click, and I know, okay, this will be a great seller. Sometimes I'm wrong, most of the time I'm wrong, otherwise I would not sit here, but I would be in Hawaii or I don't know. A product of yours is your front carrier. When this came out, I think it's also already like 6 years ago, something like that. And it was a time when I thought by myself, it's a front carrier. A front carrier, how complicated can it be? We already bought tube bending tools to produce our own front carriers because everything on the market was just not cool or super expensive because it was Nitto or stuff like that. So we were already almost into building our own front racks. But then luckily you came and I never had to do this, and we also never found the time to actually do it. We had the tools, we had the plans, but we never do it. And then this came out and it was like, finally, thank you Pelago. 2 years later, there were copies already on the market. Great product.
The racks, definitely close to my heart. The original idea came from the utility and function of the bike idea. Design philosophy behind the racks was the same as with the bikes, of making something that is strong, and there's the functionality, and then they look good also. And of course, originally we saw them something that will complement our bikes, but from the beginning we wanted to make them the way that you could also use them in other bikes. It's so wonderful when you have a rack on your bike, even though you won't use it all the time. The moment when you need it, you can actually put stuff there. And but that's where the idea came from. And then our own designers had really good ideas of making this modular design and different sizes of them, and so it's a wonderful category.
It's your own design, but you went to like a manufacturer for racks, or who does stuff like that?
We are a small business doing industrial production. We don't have our own factory. We did all the design and all the factory level drawings. Then we found factory partner from Asia. It's a Taiwanese company.
I've never been to Taiwan.
But their factory was located in China. Very good quality factory that then has been able to produce this for us. I think it is almost 10 years now that we've been making the racks. So they are really a strong category,
it's because they look decent for the price and everything, the weight. It's a great product. I also love the packaging.
It's a wonderful product.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, baskets and racks.
Basket racks.
It's a wonderful thing.
Cool. I love to sell brands and stuff where the brand themselves already think about the future. Some communicate this a lot. They are into sustainability. They also then start to probably do programs, B Corp or whatsoever, like sustainability thing. At the end, they wouldn't have to because they already tried. They got this in their heart already. Is it something you're thinking about? How green, how great you are, or is it something you think, hey, we don't even start with that because it's just greenwashing?
For us, the main thing has been to understanding when making products like this, like making bikes and the racks, for example. It comes from the main idea of making stuff that lasts. That's the main standard code we're running of trying to make stuff that lasts years and years to come. Just working in cycling and urban cycling, in that way maybe like city life also, making cities better, doing our own small thing of making cities better. That's the main thing for us. We have been thinking about like these official standards and programs. At the moment, there's nothing I can list that what we're doing, but definitely the mindset is there.
Yeah. We also try to sell only long-lasting products, but at the end, we still throw garbage away in the main black, what is it called, container.
Yeah, packaging is one thing.
Packaging is a huge thing. It's hard to be the options are not there. Okay, we cut this out.
I would like to start talking about honestly, I don't know about plastic and cardboard, but is cardboard? At the end of the day, I don't even know what is, but I know the less is better, I guess. But yeah, this is a hard topic.
I would love to show you my personal Pelago bicycle. I have only owned one Pelago. Jari, we now do a little bike check.
Okay.
And see how good you know your bikes. It's a Bristol 3-speed. Can you see on first glance if there are different generations?
Well, I can see frame numbering there. I would have to check that, but then the decal design here and a little bit of the frame. I would say this is around 2016. That's my first wipe. So of course there has been changes in the frame, like minor changes. This bike has been the frame very, very similar looking 12 years now.
I love this bike because it's the most classic frame shape.
The standard design in this bike was also the idea that it's a modern take. We don't really like to use the retro that much, but for example, if you compare it to the authentic Dutch bikes, those are pretty heavy, like super heavy duty. But this bike is actually quite light in its own category, because it is modern steel frame. At the end of the day, the weight of the bike is around 14, 15 kilos, so it's not super heavy.
In Austria, you don't see a lot of real Dutch bicycles, and a traditional Austrian consumer would never accept such a heavy bike. It's a different bicycle culture.
Yeah, and it is definitely
it's a light bicycle.
Exactly.
It's amazing. It's a bike, when you sit on it and you ride it, you didn't expect it to be that cool.
For the first glance, bikes may look a bit similar, but then when you test ride them, there's actually, you can see that there's even a bike like this, there's differences.
Yeah. On bikes like these, classical bicycles, silver part gets rusty when they're not decent quality, and even on this one you see like, okay, here you got the screw rusty, you got the spring rusty, but it's overall, it's still in a really good condition. Leave it outside all year long, every day. I don't care about this bike a lot. This bike now, we sell it mostly with 7-speed and also hub dynamo.
Yeah,
this is and full fenders. As soon as you get used to it, you don't want to live without any. I get rid of everything of that because I'm on a bike, I want to look cool. I only ride it when it's sunny.
It does have the station bike look.
Station bike look as well, yeah. This is an idea of how to think about stolen bikes or thieves. You can have a bike like that, good U-lock, and you don't have to think about get it stolen. It's not a bike anyone in Eastern Europe would care about. That's cool. I mean, I'm a bike shop owner. Obviously, I have a lot of bikes on the floor, but I don't own a lot of bikes personally. I'm not a collector. Why do I have it? Super traditional style of bike. What I love about it is that I leave it outside, I don't care about it. I mean, I pump up the tires, I loop the chain. No, I've never looped this chain. It's ridiculous. I never looped this chain And it's 6 years on the street or 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think from this Bristol you can see that you have been using it heavily, and I think I like the way it looks. The frame has been taking a hit, but it can take a hit. You can see that the paint coverage is still lasting nicely there, even though there's been something has been hitting the frame for sure. And I think one thing that you said about the iconic thing, that's definitely the iconic design, but with a modern take. That's why we always just want people to test ride the bikes, because you can really feel the choices that have been taken in order to make the bike ride very nicely. Parts of the frame geometry, chooses in tires and the handlebar and everything kind of like just kind of like what then ends up in the feel or the ride of the bike.
For me, it's already quite light. I think this now weighs 12 kilograms without fenders and stuff.
Yeah, because you've taken the fenders out.
Yeah,
and
no
all
fenders. It feels light when I cycle it, actually. Yeah, I love to ride this bicycle. I'm used to good bicycles, obviously, and it's always fascinating then how good looking it is and how agile, fast it feels, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would change the original tires for super fast and light tires.
Yeah.
Is this painted?
It's
coated?
Yeah, it's a thick powder coat.
Okay. Yeah. One thing about these retro-styled bicycles on the market is for a customer, they all look the same. But it's really hard to distinguish for a customer what is a good quality bicycle. When he has the time to ride it, probably feels the difference, but at the end he only gets the real difference he sees after 2 years or something.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was about to say. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly.
Cool. Nice to have you. It was awesome. When do you visit us the next time? When do we get invited to
Well, you're always invited.
Finland?
Yeah, to Finland, Helsinki. You're always welcome.
Yeah.
I was talking earlier with Sebastian about the bathing culture of
Bathing
Vienna.
culture,
Yeah,
okay.
And possible
Sauna
culture.
Sauna, yeah.
So I want to check that out.
I'm a real sauna guy. I'm a sauna guy. Yeah.
I'm a sauna guy also.
Yeah. Cool. Next time we do a sauna check, visit some special interest saunas in Vienna or in Finland.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sounds like a plan.
Next time. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. It was a pleasure. We ask you to comment everything you want to know about Pelago. Feel free to ask questions we can't answer yet. Great brand, great brand. It's a great brand. We really have to support this urban environment we are nowadays in the cycling industry world. Yeah. Okay.